All right, welcome to the show. I'm your host, Jeff Holden. Today we're here with Big O, Coach Evan Hearn,
How we doing?
and Head Coach, Athletic Director of the Gold-Burg Bears, Mr. Christian Healer.
Gold-Burg. Gold-Burg.
All right. Appreciate you coming, making the short drive. Actually, I don't know how short it is.
Not very far at all. I mean,
Okay,
within
well-
an hour, that's nothing now.
Perfect. Yeah, for real. We appreciate you coming in. We started a new mini series called 940 Football Preview. It's something that we came up with. We're trying to do all the teams that we have now. We're going from 20 to 37. Gold-Burg was added to our list. We're excited about learning about you guys, maybe making it out to a game or two, and just keeping you guys in coverage and trying to help whatever we can do for you guys and your athletes, of course.
Yes, sir.
We have Coach Evan Hearn came up with the idea. You know, you got the newspaper says, hey, Gold-Burg's going to do this. We got the social media posts to say, hey, Gold-Burg's going to be doing this. But we felt like the best source to tell us about the Gold-Burg Bears would be the head coach.
Yes, sir.
And that's why Evan came up with the idea of bringing everybody in here to us because we don't have the means to get out to everybody else.
Yes, sir.
So, again, we appreciate you coming, and we're going to hand it over to Evan.
Oh, thank you. Coach Healer, appreciate you stopping by. Like he said, giving us your personal insight on the Gold-Burg Bears. So we talked off camera. Tell us a little bit about yourself, a little introduction.
So, I grew up around the area of about Fort Worth, a little bit south of it, out in Justin. Went to Northwest, played basketball, baseball, football up there to 5A/6A. My parents and grandparents lived up around Gold-Burg area. My dad went to Bellevue. So whenever I graduated high school, my parents moved out there. And then after I went to go play some college baseball, I came back. Was a year over at Northwest, assistant football, assistant baseball. And then I saw the opportunity to come over here, get closer to family, and I took it.
Great. So you started at Northwest, as you said, where you graduated from. And I believe you told us this is your second year at Gold-Burg, correct?
Yes, sir.
All
Yes, sir.
right.
This was my
So
second year.
tell us about your team, how you guys did last year.
So last year we went 6-4, finished third in the district. Started off 5-0. Then after that we had a lot better opponents, and I think it got to us, and we just thought that we could roll through it the entire way, and that's not how it goes. And anytime you get in district, it's anybody's ball game. And we were in one of the toughest districts for sure. Definitely probably the toughest region in total of man of 6A Division II, but our district's pretty tough. We had Strawn and Newcastle both beat us, and that's how we finished third. And Newcastle was the closest team to beating Benjamin this year, the only team that didn't get 45 to Benjamin this entire year. And that was a heck of a game. And then Strawn went 2 rounds deep as well. So we had a pretty tough district, but this upcoming year, since the realignment, it's a complete change, getting Newcastle out of there. And now we just have a 3-man team, or 3-man district. So it's a huge difference. 2 out of 3 go, and so we're the only one in the entire state that has that. And that was a blessing for sure, because now we just have Fannondale and Forestburg in our district, and there'll be tough matchups as well. But having the edge on them last year will definitely help us to try to do that again.
All right. So last year was your first year as the head coach, and now you're coming into your second year. You mentioned you went to Justin Northwest, which we know is, like you said, a 5A/6A program. So how did you construct or get yourself, and what did you learn on the job at being at a 6-man school like Gold-Burg?
Oh man, it's a culture shock from where I grew up, and it's total different breeds out there with 6-man. I never played it. I watched it a couple of times, but obviously I never played it. I only played 11-man growing up, so getting that head coaching job and getting thrown into the fire of I gotta learn 6-man and coach it at the same time. It's a total different beast to take on as 6-man. It is completely different. But right when I got the job, just started looking at film of the better teams and of our film the year before I came in, and I just tried to pick up on the go, and it worked at first for sure.
For sure. Coach, let's talk a little bit about last season, a little bit. How many seniors did you guys graduate?
We only graduated 2, but they were both all district players, so that's a huge hit to us. One of them was our complete main guy, Jayon Grace. He had 50 touchdowns. I mean, he was our leading runner, leading passer, leading tackler. He was the man. He was a beast on the field. And the other one, Aiden Foster, he was an all-district center and an all-district defensive end. So losing them and trying to replace them is going to be a challenge because we won't have the one play drives. We're like, all right, let's just give it to Jayon and see what he does. I mean, I like off of Benjamin, we kind of like started running what Benjamin did because they would just throw it back to Rigdon.
Special.
Literally the Grayson Rigdon special. Like that's literally what we called it. Like, all right, let's try to implement the Grayson Rigdon special, and it worked for a good amount. The only one that really stopped it was Strawn, but it was fun to just see, man. He just dropped back, and you bring 3 guys, all right, dump it off. We'll take 20 yards. You bring one guy, he's going to beat that one guy. And that's the difference in 6-man is, like, you've got to corral that back guy. And no one could figure out how to do it on Rigdon. No one could, and no one figured it out until our very last game on Strawn how to stop Jayon from it.
Yeah.
So this upcoming year, you said you're graduating 2 seniors. What's some of your key pieces that you have coming back this season?
So I got my starting quarterback. He was second team all district. Levi Hellinger. He's gonna be a junior next year. I've got my other running back coming back, Jayton Epperson. And then I've got gonna be a sophomore on one of my wide receivers, and then a junior on one of my receivers on the other. That's Paul Jones and Keelan Case. So having them back, that's basically they were starting both sides. Like all 4 of those guys, my quarterback didn't, but the rest of the 3 did. So having that key components coming back is huge. And I've got a really good 8th grade class coming up for freshmen now. One of them's little Epperson. He's Jayton Epperson's little brother, and he's bigger than him. So like having that right off the rip of having a freshman be that big, it's going to be nice to have that come in there.
At Orthopedics Express, our primary focus is delivering exceptional care to patients with orthopedic injuries, such as sprains, strains, broken bones, and joint pain. You'll receive the expert care you need when you need it most. Simply walk in or schedule an appointment through MyChart. Located inside the Center for Advanced Orthopedics, Orthopedics Express is your fast track to orthopedic care.
One of my questions is, this is your second year, you said.
Yes, sir.
So my question is a little bit different. Do we want to just stick with the go straight to the?
You want to do that?
Yeah, because I kind of spin off a little bit.
You
That's
spin
fine.
off.
It don't matter how we do it to me.
Okay. Hold on, let me get to it. Make sure I didn't forget anything. Oh, your questions. So, talk about your offense philosophy. You mentioned it, what y'all kind of took from Benjamin offensively, and then talk about your defense philosophy. Because as we know, 6-man, there's only six people almost on the court, on the field at a time, and so the different in philosophies is different than 11-man football. So tell us more about y'all's philosophy and what you guys do.
So offensively, this next year is going to be definitely different from last year, but I kind of try to implement what we did up at Northwest when I was playing with Coach Poe. We were more like a air raid offense for 11-man. Like we never huddled and stuff like that. So like I want to try to implement a little bit more air raid this year and see like if you're going to give us the quick passes for 7-8 yards and 6-man, I'll take that every time. Like if you're going to back up, I'll take that every time. So try to implement that a little bit more. Probably a little bit more play actions this year just because I don't have Jayon in the back, so it's got to be different on that. On the defensive side, since I brought in new coaches, I won't have to be OC and DC this next year.
Oh, man.
That's going to be a huge difference. But I'll have Coach McMinn. He came out from Lubbock, and he was at Spur whenever they won district 5 or 6 years ago, something like that. And so having him on the defensive side is going to be a huge difference. So he'll have all defense, and then I'll have all offense, so I can try to put more into that than what it was last year.
So you touched on offense and defense. Do you consider yourself more of an offensive-minded coach or a defensive-minded coach? Well, you're just, 3 years in? So
Right. Honestly, probably from playing-wise was probably defensive side, but for coaching-wise, definitely more of like an offensive guy just because I just like to score touchdowns. Like that's a huge difference, like especially in 6-man. They're high-scoring games, so you can't really ever blame the defense for allowing somebody to score. It's more offensive side. Like if you don't score, like it's going to be over at halftime if you don't score.
So you said you hired a defensive coach,
Yes, sir.
Coach Seth McMahon, which me and him are good friends, and so he told me to give you a little heck. So I'm gonna do that. You said you were the offensive defensive coordinator.
Yes, sir.
Did you get mad at yourself?
All the time. All the time.
Dang defense, dang offense.
all the
what
time.
about?
It was rough. Like It's like, man, I can't stop on defense, but I keep scoring on offense. So it's like you got positive and negatives the entire time. And then our biggest battle this year was special teams. Like, we scored, but I was like, gosh, we just cannot make an extra point because our work too. And so, like, that ended up costing us about 3 games this past year. We lost 3 games within a score. So, like, that was, like, the most frustrating thing is, like, I had the key component on offense, defense, and special teams. It's different, like, because, I mean, you get at these big schools, you know, you got at least 8 coaches on staff.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
Last year I had 2, and the other one I had last year, it was his first year coaching, and he was from Oklahoma, so he knew 8-man, not 6-man. So it's like that's a little bit different as well. So it was hard to make that difference from myself going to 11-man to 6-man because I was like I had to learn the rules while coaching.
So you said you were 6-4.
Yes, sir.
Last year with 2 coaches.
Yes, sir.
So, I mean, that's pretty good, I'd say. So
I'd hope so.
Yeah. But I'm going to touch on the you were talking about the 2-point or the 2 points.
Extra point.
So, yeah, so not only myself probably, but there's probably a lot of listeners out there that are saying, what is that? So can you explain what that is? You score a touchdown, you got to kick a field goal for 2?
Yes, sir. Like, so you can either do a 1-point conversion, which is you have it from the same yard line, and you run it in or pass it in. But the 2-point is it's an extra point as an 11-man, except it's going to be worth 2 points instead. And so you got 6 guys lined up against you, and you've got 4 guys trying to block, 1 guy trying to hold, and then 1 guy trying to kick. So it's like you better get that thing off fast.
Oh, so it is a huge disadvantage. I mean, there is a big.
It's huge difference because like in 11-man you see them take like 2 or 3 steps before they kick it. One like in 6-man it's like maybe 2 steps. Like you want to probably go 1 step, bang it in. It's that much of a difference.
Yeah, so that was the thing that the Coach Archer was talking about. They probably scored more touchdowns, but couldn't get their 2-point conversion.
Lost on 2 points. Yep.
Which that's happened the same thing with us. I mean, when we played in Newcastle, we lost by 4, and we scored more touchdowns than them, but they had more extra point conversions.
That's pretty good.
Yep. So, Coach, I was going to ask you, in your philosophy, let's talk a little bit about what does it look like? What's an offensive line or a defensive lineman in 6-man? What is that? Like, what does it consist of?
So, offensive lineman, if you really had to ask me, there isn't really much of a philosophy. In running plays, you're obviously blocking, but in 6-man, every single person is eligible. So it's not just the blocking they have to worry about; they have to worry about the catching as well. But on the offensive side, for blocking, you've got to turn your butt to one side so that the running back or whoever has the ball, the up back, can actually pick a side to go to. Because in 6-man, man, you block 2 people, you're probably gone. Like it's probably a touchdown. Like if you get to second level with the block, it's probably a touchdown, at least a first down. And then on the defensive side, it's got to be like it's kind of like playing tag. Like if they're gonna go in the up back, so like snap it from the quarterback to an up back. That's how we call it in 6-man. Because then he can run past the line of scrimmage. It's kind of like playing tag with 2 people versus 1, as if you got to break down and keep them right in front of you. So you've got to be chop, 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 and then he runs back more. Get back to him, chop, 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 like break down and then make the tackle. You can't run full speed and not break down and make a tackle in 6-man. It just doesn't happen.
So is that like, would you say for offense, would you use a more athletic? I say more athletic, but would you use kind of a kid who can do both? And maybe the defensive side, does he do both, or do you look as a run plugger, or does it just depend on the teams you're playing?
For us, I try to use the more athletic kids for both sides of the ball. Because I mean, this year we've got about 20 kids on team, but like that usually doesn't happen.
Yes.
But like a more athletic side for the offensive side, and then really your defensive guys are just who want to make a tackle.
Just 6 guys.
Because I mean, we all played back in the day, and you know there's a difference between someone want to make a tackle and not want to make a tackle. Like there's people who want contact, and there's people that don't want contact, and it's the same way in 6-man. Like if you don't want the contact, they're gonna score these. Arm tackles don't happen. Same thing. 11-man or 6-man, arm tackles don't work.
I got you. So you talked about your pre-district last year. Talk about it this year. You said you only got 3 district ball games. So what does that mean? You have 7 non-district opponents?
Yes, sir. That's exactly what it is, and it's a little bit different from last year. I didn't really get, since my last year was the first year for me, I didn't really get to schedule my pre-district. It was already given to me. So with this year, having a smaller district and having more of a pre-district, we still kept pairing because that's just really only about an hour away from down the road, so that's a nice one to have. Still kept St. Joe. That's really our rivals, even though they're a bigger 1A school. That's still our rivals. We still kept Newcastle. They got out of our district, but we still kept them in there. That was a great game last year. We added Harold, and then we're playing 2 private school teams, GCCA, and then Fort Worth Tessa. I don't know much about the Fort Worth school, but the GCCA, that I saw a little bit of their film last year, and they're gonna, both of those opponents are gonna be really good private schools. And then I have Northside Vernon. We played them last year as well. And then I added Throckmorton this year. We didn't have them last year, but we played them 2 years back in a playoff game. So there'll be another one too. I try to get a little bit more D1 schools just because, like, I mean, I think it's how it is in 5A and 6A. You play the D1s and D2s; they're completely different. So it's the same way. I want to get more D1 schools, get better competition, because at the end of the day, if we go 2-8 and we're 2-0 in district, we were district champs. So, like, I don't care about the first 8 as long as the last 2 is what we win. That was the difference in last year. We won. Let's see. We won our first 5 games. We were 6-1. No, we were 5-2 going into district and ended up being 1-2 in district, and we didn't make playoffs. That's the difference. Had a winning record in pre-district, not in district, and didn't make it.
So you flipped it this year, or
Yes, sir.
I mean, it made it tougher pre-district schedule
Yes, sir. Tried
in
to.
order to prepare yourself for it. I mean, that seems like the going
Yeah, that seems
the
like
going
what all the coaches are.
method. Yeah.
Yep.
So we have another question here. This is actually from Coach Jay. He's a little off screen, but he's here today. But his question is, what's the culture differences coaching at a place like Justin compared to Gold-Burg?
Oh, it's a culture shock for me. It's really not to dog on the last coaches that may have been there or the athletes that have been at Gold-Burg, but they're not used to winning. And like I hate. I mean, I really got tattooed on myself. I hate losing more than I enjoy winning. Like, it's trying to implement that into them is a huge difference. Because at Northwest, I mean, we won the tied most games in football history in a year. We lost in state for basketball, and we lost semis the year before that. And then in baseball, we went the furthest we've ever gone. It's like, I don't know what losing is, and not making the playoffs like last year was a culture shock to me, because like I'm always used to going further and further and further. So like you can look at our total record. It's not very good for Gold-Burg, and so like trying to implement is like we have got to know the winning culture and create that winning culture so that when the kids in middle school and the kids and now even in elementary, like they can see that we can create a winning culture. It just takes change. Like that change has to happen. And that's the biggest thing I try to implement like last year and definitely this year, having more pieces to it, is if we can change how we go about things, it changes the whole culture, and we make that winning culture.
The realtor we trust is Kim Roark, given to others with love. Kim was raised in this community and has been selflessly serving for over 20 years. Kim encourages everyone to thrive in their purpose. Kim is part of the Homes for Heroes program, where she gives back a portion of her commissions from each closing to all military, firefighters, law enforcement, healthcare, and educators who use her services. Whether you're looking to buy or sell, Kim is the realtor for you. Go check out the website at homesforheroes.com. Since starting from scratch in 2020 by longtime resident of Clay County, Bob Belcher, Duck Creek Disposal has quickly become one of the most trusted waste disposal service and dumpster rental companies serving the 940 community and the surrounding areas. Local to the core, they take immense pride in being a part of the Wichita Falls community. Duck Creek Disposal's deep roots mean that every customer is treated like a neighbor. Their promise is to guarantee the best customer experience in the area, and they live by it. Whether you're a homeowner, contractor, or business, they've tailored their services to suit varied requirements. Bob's hands-on approach and belief in personal connection means that when you call Duck Creek Disposal, you're experiencing a standard of service that Bob himself envisioned. You talk to real people, not a machine. Go give Bob a call at 940-257-5660. Serving the 940 community for 12 years, Allegiance Electric and Controls is the trusted go-to for commercial and industrial electrical solutions. Contact them for reliable, tailored services to keep your operations running smoothly. Please call or visit their website at aecllc.com. For all your paving and concrete needs, we trust Freeman Paving, LLC. Located in Vernon, Texas, Freeman Paving is our recommended business for concrete, paving, and dirt work. They have over 20 years of experience working right here in our community. Next time you need any concrete work, give them a call, 940-552-9496. If you're looking to treat yourself to a delicious dessert, then Yogurt Journey is the place to be. Yogurt Journey offers 12 delicious flavors of frozen yogurt with over 60 topping options. If you want something warm instead, stop by to enjoy an amazing funnel cake, fried Oreos, fried brownies, or fried candy. Yogurt Journey also offers frozen yogurt rolls, waffle frozen yogurt rolls, and smoothies. If you need a cake for your next celebration, Yojo provides custom frozen yogurt cakes. Yogurt Journey is located on Kemp Street across from Barwise Middle School and is open daily from 12 to 9 p.m. For all your roofing related needs, we choose Assured Roofing and Construction. At Assured Roofing and Construction, their hard work is based off honesty, loyalty, and integrity, ensuring that every customer gets what they deserve and is happy and stress-free throughout the entire process. When any storm damage occurs to your roof, gutters, fencing, or siding, Assured will have you covered and help you from the initial free inspection to filing your claim, meeting with adjusters, and getting your damaged property fixed properly. Give AJ a call at 940-782-1194.
So, Coach, I have a question for you. Just for our viewers, they don't. We talked about this out there. You're 24 years old.
Yes, sir.
Just sitting here listening to you, most people wouldn't be able to tell that you're a 24-year-old young man. How has there been any? Is it hard sometimes being 24, dealing with probably parents and things that are probably older than you, probably think they know more than you? So how do you manage that? And then also on a positive note, how do you manage being so close to the age of the kids that you're? Because an 18-year-old kid and you're 24, you have probably some of the things, similar interests. How do you be able to still get that respect out of your kids being so close to their age?
So with the parent side, yeah, it's definitely a battle, especially because I mean they've probably had guys like coaching there that's over 35 or around 40 as well. So I mean they basically cut that half in difference. And since my family lives close to over there, like a lot of people know that. Like my grandpa was a mail route carrier for 40 years that blew the same route around there. My dad grew up around there, so like everybody knows of my last name, so that makes a huge difference. But with the parent side, like I try to really just implement, especially after games, is like you've got to wait the 24-hour period. Like we're both frustrated now, even win or loss, it doesn't matter. Like you've got to wait 24 hours, and I will gladly bring you in, and we can talk about whatever you're upset about. With the athlete side, honestly, I think it's a lot easier. I had a couple of coaches that they weren't 24, but like they were 25 to 28 whenever I was playing over at Northwest, and like those are easier ones to connect to because like they were there like just a couple of years back, so it's just easier to connect to them on a personal level, and like you can actually feel like they were just in it, and so like they still breathe and eat all that. Not that old coaches aren't probably doing that more than I am for sure, but it's just like they were just in it. So like that competitive side is like it's still all there, and it's still like a burning passion. Like I've been out of college ball for 2 years, and like it's still a burning passion. I wish I could go back.
Okay, so another thing I wanted to ask, leading into that, how has your summer preparation been for the Gold-Burg Bears?
Well, this year was the first time they ever had summer workouts, from what I know. So, trying to implement
It's that culture, baby.
Exactly. Trying to implement like Monday through Thursday. Like you can show up for halftime. Like I don't care if you show up for 50% of summer workouts, but like if that's where it has to change, is if we can start it right now before even the school year starts. Like if you can change that culture right now, that's a huge difference. So they've never had that before, and so like having the kids consistently come up, not all of them, but like a lot of them work. That's just how it is at 1A. A lot of them work on the farms. A lot of them have to do a job to help out their family. But like, hey man, I'll work around it. You just let me know. And so, like, changing that aspect is, like, a huge difference. So we have to set the bar. And that starts with anybody that coaches there or even works there as a teacher. Like, if you want to change, you have to do it yourself. We can talk all we want. But if we don't show it, these kids know. They know.
For sure.
So you talked about you guys being one of the smallest, or y'all are 1A Division 1. So
Division 2.
Yeah, Division 1. I was
know
thinking of numbers. Yeah. Division 2. So tell us about the enrollment in the community of Gold-Burg. And obviously, yes, you have been around it, but what keeps you going?
So, yeah, I'd say I didn't look at the exact numbers. We enrolled less than 50 in high school for the enrollment. I'd say we're probably like the smallest 10% of high schools in Texas, if not even lower than that, maybe 5. But we have a lot more boys than girls, so like I'll have still 20 on my football team around that. That's the number I'm looking at. So that's over half of them. That's to be the most I ever had. But the community, it's like we're about 10 miles outside of Bowie, so like you can go 10 miles down the road and like you got everything there. That's a 3A right there. But the community, it's a work in progress for them because like they're trying to get used to like things being different too. Like we're there in the mornings now instead of in the afternoons. Like we'll practice in the morning instead of the afternoons. Like getting the community on the side, I think is a huge difference because if I can get them behind it, everybody else will be behind it. I mean, they show out for games. They'll pull up, back it up right to the right,
There you go.
literally right next to this fence, and they go right there, back it up, put the tailgate down, and we'll watch Friday Night Lights. I love that. I love that aspect. That's where the small town becomes a huge difference. I love that. But the community is really started to grab onto me, and that was the biggest thing. Like I want to change it around there. Like I don't want to be the one and done, and that's a lot of the coaches there. I mean, Helms was there 2 years, and then the guy before me was only there 1 year. Like I don't think there's ever been a Gold-Burg coach lasting more than 4 or 5 years there. So like I want to change that. Like if I can just implement that winning culture, that's why I want to change, and I hope they keep me around for that long.
Yeah. So talking about the change that you're wanting to bring on, I got a kind of question that kind of spins off a little bit. Talk more about tradition. I don't know. You probably know the amount of tradition that Gold-Burg Bears have, but what is one thing that you guys do? Maybe you came in and did it last year, or something that you may want to do moving forward that is kind of a unique or a cool thing that you guys do as a football team, whether before the games, after the games, the day of, something like that.
I haven't really made a new tradition yet. The bigger schools like call it pals, so like how like the high school players like will take them to their class and stuff like that. This year we're trying to change it because first period is athletics this year. So like the first 20 minutes, like the one who takes them to their classroom, like the little kids, like the pre-K and the K and the first grade, like they stay in the classroom for 20 minutes. Like you can't be on your phone. Like get away from your phone, sit there and enjoy the kid. Because like we all know that we all looked up to that one guy playing. So like I want to implement like you have to show that you're that person. Like you have to show that you're grown up and that you want to be that person for them and want to be that role model for them. So like that's a little bit new this year. Game days, we do game day lunch together, like all the players, the trainers, and like whatever is left, like we'll give it out to the teachers. But like game day, they come in to my room, or it'll be to Coach McMinn's this year, and we'll just have lunch together in there, watch a little bit film, relax a little bit before game day since we do have school on game days, and then that's really about it. I mean, we let the kids once we go in at 7:15. So I tell them come in at 7, walk the kids in. Like we got music playing in the front. They're wearing their jerseys in the morning, and just like help the kids in. Like just spend time with them. Get away from the social media. Just spend time.
Yeah, I think that's awesome. I always talk about it, and I say, like, if you can get the little kids begging their mom and dad to take you to the football game because you want to see number 23, like that's what it's all about. Exactly. And that's how you start. If you can start them that young and get them to grow up to where they're like, that's what turns a kid on to a certain sport, whether it be football, basketball, whatever. But like I was like that. Like I rode my bike. My parents didn't take me nowhere, but I rode my bike, and like I fell in love with those guys. Like oh, I love watching so and so play basketball. Or I love, and so that's what made me love sports in general so much. So I think that's awesome that you're doing that.
All right, Coach. So before I get into my last question, I wanted to touch a little bit on your name. Your name's Christian Healer, right?
Yes, sir.
Man, that's like a great name to have. Like,
right.
You know what I'm saying? I think when your parents did that, I think that, there was some spin on that.
Everybody told me I should have been a doctor instead.
Yeah,
Dr.
for real.
Healer.
Because he's a healer. Maybe the Gold-Burg parents and stuff, they can start saying that
right?
he's our healer. Maybe they can say that.
Fresh your ride during the Thrill of Summer sales event at Nissan of Wichita Falls. Come see our great lineup of new Nissans, including the all-new Nissan Rogue and the new 2024 Nissan Frontier. Nissan of Wichita Falls has a huge selection of pre-owned vehicles and a service staff of certified Nissan technicians, backed by the best parts department in Texoma. We're locally owned and operated with a sales team you can trust at Nissan of Wichita Falls.
Coach, but so to end my questions is always the big old special, This guy here be hating. Maybe you can lay hands on him whenever you get done.
Always 2 or 3 folds.
Today is going to be three folds. So the first part is, because we don't know about Gold-Burg, what's your favorite restaurant in Gold-Burg?
Literally the only one we have, but it's really good barbecue is It's called 5 Barbecue. It's literally like right across the street from the school. That's the only one technically in Stoneburg, which is where Gold-Burg is at. But it's a really good barbecue place right in there. It's it's a really, really small establishment. Like, you gotta pour your own drink, like your own can into your drink. Like, they don't even have fountain drinks. It's like that small, but it's really good barbecue.
Okay, so
Shout out.
So the next part is what's your favorite? You being a young guy, I'm pretty sure you have one. What's your favorite pregame meal?
I don't have a pregame meal. If you really had to ask me, it's the pregame. I'd say the pregame workout. Like, that's where I get locked in. Like, I mean, yeah, it matters what I eat, but like, that's how I get locked in. Is like right, like once the bell rings, we have that little bit of time to ourselves. I get that pregame workout in. That's where I like to lock my mind in and like, all right, now I can run through a wall for these kids. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, and then the last part of my question is what's something I've noticed you said you guys do team dinner together on Friday as coaches and stuff. What's a meal that you guys like to eat with the kids?
Probably to get a little bit more carbs in them is pasta. I think if you can get like pasta around like 12, 1 o'clock, not 4 or 5, that's a really good. It'll set on their stomach and not be too much, and like they don't have to have a meal right before the game. Because like when I was playing, I didn't like a meal before the game. I wanted to feel light so that I can move around more. So like having that carb load right then and there, that's a good one. Like with maybe some like chicken Alfredo, like I love a meat in there. And then the night before is definitely steak, but like the day of is like if you can get some pasta into them, I think that's the best one.
Okay.
Evan, have we talked about district games?
No, that's what I was about to say.
Okay.
I mean, he mentioned it.
A
so
little bit, but
tell us about your new district. I know you, like you said, it's only 3 of you guys,
Right.
and so talk a little circles around you guys.
So since the realignment changed everything. We had 5 and now down to 3. It's a huge difference. We had 4, but now down to 3. We got rid of Strawn and Newcastle, which those are the ones that were in the playoffs last year. So that's a huge difference. So it's wide open now. Then we still have Forestburg, and then we added Fanandel. So Forestburg, they kind of run a different, I'd say different 6-man. Like they went 5 spread against us, which I didn't see until I played them. Like I didn't see it on our film or anything like that before. So that was a huge difference. But they got some freshmen up there too that will be adding to theirs. And then Fanandel, they just hired a new coach. So I don't know exactly how it's going to be for them. But district, it doesn't matter. You could 45 the team last year, and it really doesn't matter. It's the same thing. And the 11-man's like anything could change.
So one of my last 2 questions. Head coach, athletic director, you was offensive coordinator, defense coordinator. Tell us about all your jobs that you do there in Gold-Burg.
So last year was a lot different from hopefully this upcoming year. But last year I was head football, head basketball, head cross country, head track, and head golf. It's 1A is a completely different beast from what I would know.
Than what you grew up with.
Yeah.
Huh?
And then it was obviously I had to claim my own gym. I mowed my own football field, lined my own football field, cleaned the locker rooms. You name it, probably did it.
Did you teach class too?
Yes, sir. I did. Last year I had a little bit different than this upcoming year, but last year I had 12th grade math, pre-K and K PE, 3rd,
Pre-K?
4th, 5th.
You teaching elementary too?
Yeah.
They probably all in one building.
They are. We are. The
oh,
entire
it's one building? Wow.
Yes, sir. Yeah, one complete building.
I kind of gathered that when you were saying that we get up early and walk the kids to their classes.
Yeah. Yeah, 3rd,
That's
4th,
crazy.
and 5th PE, and then 6th grade health, and then obviously athletic periods. But those are the 4 I had. And then this upcoming year, I just have high school math. So I'll have 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th math. I'm a math guy, so thank goodness I got rid of PE. I don't know how people do that, especially pre-K and K.
Elementary PE. That was my first job.
Gosh.
Elementary PE.
Dude, I don't even
people
want to
think
like,
it's
to
easy.
coach with that.
No,
Like,
no.
that is the no coaching for me.
People don't understand
Yeah.
elementary PE.
Like my
rough.
girlfriend does kindergarten. She teaches kindergarten. I'm like, how do you do it? It's like you gotta be on crack all day.
Shout
I
out
don't know
to
how
the
they do it.
girlfriend. Shout
Yeah.
out to the girlfriend.
Yeah, sorry, ladies. He is not single.
He's swaggy though.
He
Yeah,
is.
he is swaggy.
Appreciate it.
Matched
Appreciate
up.
Probably the swaggiest coach that's been on here
That's
so
what
far.
I try to be, you know.
Yeah.
So I guess I got another question. What's the day like for you from start to finish on game day?
So on game days, get to sleep in a little bit more, but I'll be up there probably about 7. We'd be there 7:15 for teaching. But then this next year will be first athletic period, so we'll do a little bit of walkthrough. They'll walk the kids in, and then we'll a little bit of walkthrough / film, depending on the day, depending on if it rained the night before or stuff like that, you know. Then I'll teach throughout the day, get a lunch break, probably watch some more film. Then I'll teach a little bit more, and then the girls' athletic sides on the end of the period. So I'll watch a little bit of volleyball practice / volleyball game warm-ups. And then when that 4 o'clock hits, get that pregame workout in. and then sit there and watch more film after it and just get ready for the game. And then obviously after that, upload film, tag it all, hopefully get in bed before 1.
1. That's crazy.
So my last 2 questions. Thanks, Big O.
Twofold.
Twofold.
Get it right.
You mentioned you only lost 2 seniors last year,
Yes,
and
sir.
then this year you have a big incoming freshman class. So what do you think the strength of Gold-Burg will be this year?
So on the offensive side, I think it will definitely be a little bit more passing this year, especially since we got I'd say a more traditional 11-man quarterback as mine. And then on the defensive side, having Coach McMahon, and we'll run a completely different defense probably, and so hopefully contain a little bit better, not let those dump offs happen as much or stuff like that. Not let the big runs happen.
And so my last question is, Coach, this has been great. What are your goals? I know you've kind of alluded to them, but what are the goals for the Gold-Burg Bears this year?
District champs. We got 2 gold balls in the history of Gold-Burg football, and I want 3 at least this year.
You want your 3rd, or
I
you
want
want
to
3?
add 3. Yeah, I want to double
Oh.
it plus no one. So district champs and then go 3 rounds.
He
deep.
going in the playoffs.
Hey, set high expectations.
Yep. Yes,
And
sir.
then
I heard what he said.
Yeah.
Gold-Burg. Yeah, we getting
So if we
live
go
in here.
out there, we can go to the barbecue. Barbecue gonna hook us up.
Oh yeah, they will. Yeah, it's a nice place. You should say, hey, Coach Healer sent me over here. What y'all can do?
all
for me?"
right, that's a bet.
I'll
So
be
we
there
just
tomorrow.
Are you playing Newcastle at home, or are you playing
We
in
play them
Newcastle?
we played them at home this last
All
year.
right. So
we're playing them
what's the
in
next second best game to go to this year?
St. Joe
St. Joe.
Oh, that's the rivalry game.
rivalry. Yep, we beat them last year for the 2nd or 3rd time ever. So
Okay.
Wow.
they're coming for blood.
They was loving it.
Joe.
Yeah.
So St. Joe. So we got to get there early enough to go to 5, right?
Yes, sir.
5 barbecue.
Yes, sir. Literally right next to the school.
Eat there.
Okay.
Get over.
Ribs.
Pull up in in your tailgate.
Okay.
Put the tailgate down.
Yep.
Okay.
I'll get the camera out, and we'll see some touchdowns.
Hey, you can
sir.
see Big O screaming. Gold-Burg.
Oh, we got to get some green though. We have to wear some green,
I have $1 bill or something I put on.
like St. Patrick's Day or
Yeah,
something.
for sure.
All right. So, do you have anything else for us, Coach?
No, that's about it. I appreciate y'all having me on here. It's a lot of fun.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
lot of fun.
You ever been on a podcast?
No, never.
A pack.
So it's,
Podcast?
He
so it's
ain't been on
different.
one either. Look.
Hey, I will tell you this. Oates said it. You definitely don't talk and think like a 24-year-old.
I appreciate that.
So, I mean,
try
not
to.
to take anything away from 24-year-olds that are sitting at home playing on PlayStation all day, but yeah, man, I'm excited for you. I think
I am
what
too.
you got an idea. I think you got goals set. I think you want to get in there and change the culture. Like you said, everything you said is like exactly what people
hope
want.
so.
So
That's what I
I
need
think
in my
Gold-Burg
life.
will get behind you if you
Yes, sir.
keep it going, and we wish you the best of luck.
Appreciate
We appreciate you coming out here.
Of course.
And you guys got anything else? Or
No, sir.
No.
all right, man. Well, we appreciate you. Good luck this year.
Thank you.
We're rooting for you.
Appreciate it.
All right, man.